How you doing? My name is Hercules. I'm a student of the International Sports Science Association, also known as the ISSA. So today we're going to be training a football player by the name of Hercules. He's a quarterback looking to improve his strength and conditioning. I'm going to show you different workouts and routines that you can do to enhance your skills as a 13-year-old quarterback going to high school, what things you need to do, what you need to focus on, so that way you'll be able to develop for the next year or develop while you're playing. The layout of this routine will consist of a warm-up, then we'll go into some conditioning, then we're going to do some strength workout, then we're going to do another cool down. The warm-up routine will consist of some dynamic movements and also some static stretches before we do the conditioning and the strength training. Walking knee hugs are really great for hip mobility and a wonderful way to stretch out the muscles in the glutes. If you want, you can add a toe raise to activate the calves and to work your balance also. Some benefits of walking knee hugs are that they strengthen and tone the calves, the thighs, the ankles. They also stretch the hamstrings, hips, lower back. Performing the walking knee hugs from one destination to another and back to the starting point is considered one set. That's the only way you're going to see the best results and the best gains from this workout. When completing the movement of a dynamic lunge with rotation, you have to take a step like you're doing a regular lunge, place both hands in front of your body, of the knee that you're going to bend in front of you, and twist your opposite hand towards the ceiling. Dynamic lunges with rotations are a great way to really stretch the hip flexors and open them up. In football players, the hips are usually tight, so to stretch them out and get them really loose will increase mobility. That's better for sprinting and running fast and bursting up speed. If you have spine issues and still choose to do this workout, it's not a good idea because you put your spine in high risk of injury. Inverted hamstring stretches are a great way to activate the glutes and stretch the hamstrings. When balancing forward during the inverted hamstring stretches, it's best to try and keep your hips as stable and square as possible to avoid falling or to avoid injury. When completing the hip rotations, you have to pick your knee up in a 95-degree angle and then move it to the left of you or the right of you, depending on which leg you use, and then bring it back to the center, bring your foot down. That's considered one rep. The hip is a ball and socket joint. It's attached to the uppermost part of your leg. The hip creates space for your leg to move, rotate inward, outward, around. Hip external rotation is when the leg rotates outwards, away from the rest of your body. We use this motion in everyday life, such like stepping in and out of cars, walking sideways, walking up the stairs, running, turning corners. To perform a proper lateral lunge, you have to stay low, take a step to the right, keep your toes pointed forward as much as you can, extend the left knee, drive with your right, flex the knee and the hip into a side lunge. While you're in this lunge, you have to maintain proper posture and make sure the entire spine and chest is pointed upright and head as well. The gluteus medius, which is also known as the side butt muscle, is widely overlooked. When doing lateral lunges, these muscles are targeted directly. When completing the band dislocates, you need to keep your arms straight and lock your elbows. Hold the resistance band at the widest points, then raise the band with your arms spread wide apart above your head and behind you. Try not to show your ribs. You want everything to be as stable as possible. You want to be as stable as possible. Then you hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. To complete a scapular stretch, also known as the upper back stretch, you have to interlace your fingers with your palms facing away from you. Once you interlock your fingers, stretch your back. As you can see in the demonstration, you have to stretch your scapulas outward instead of inwards. The scapular stretch is a great way to tone the muscle and also build strength in the upper back, shoulders, and arms. During the shoulder stretch, you should hold the pose for either 10 to 30 seconds per side. Performing a shoulder stretch is a great way to relieve excess pain, strains, injuries, stress to your muscles that tense up and cause stiffness. Since our shoulders are in charge of wide range of movements, it's very, very, very important to stretch them out regularly. So that way you can reduce any signs of pain or fatigue and increase flexibility and mobility. After finishing up the first arm, now repeat all these steps with the other arm. To complete hamstring stretches, you have to be seated on the floor with your legs open. You bend your first leg inward toward the upper thigh of your other leg, and you reach with both arms as far as you can on the leg that is straight. You hold this position for about 30 seconds before switching over to the other leg and repeating the same steps. The hamstrings are a group of three muscles that are in the back of your thigh, running from the pelvis to your knee. Hamstrings can suffer injuries such as muscle strains and tears. By stretching the hamstring, you can reduce back pains. Longer muscles relieve pressure on the lower back and ease your aching. By stretching your hamstring, you can decrease sciatica. Sciatica, the pain you feel running from your butt down to the back of your legs, occurs when your sciatic nerves are compressed. The purpose of strength and conditioning is to improve on athletic performance. Trying to reduce athletic injuries and teaching long life fitness and movement skills. When performing the single arm dumbbell overhead press, you have to make sure your feet are at shoulder width apart below you, and you have to tighten the core and tighten the muscles of the back so you can protect the spine, working the muscles of the lateral deltoids, the anterior deltoid, your pectoralis major, also known as your upper chest, your obliques, and your serratus anteriors. The single arm dumbbell overhead press is a great way to also improve muscular imbalances and asymmetric shapes of the body, evening out the muscle tones. The single arm dumbbell row is a great addition to this workout, mainly because this movement targets the upper back, the lower back, shoulders, biceps, and hips while improving core stability. While maintaining the proper form for the single arm dumbbell rows, there are 5 different joint actions that are taking place during this compound exercise. While performing the bent over single arm dumbbell rows, please remember to keep your back straight, keep your knees bent at a 45-degree angle, and then keep the opposite arm stable on the bench. To perform a cable shoulder rotation, you have to place the lever at a 90-degree angle so that way you can grasp the cable attachment in the front of your body and stand upright. Your elbows should be bent at your sides, and the attachment, meaning the handle, should be resting against your abdomen. The cable shoulder rotations is a very important way to keep the rotator cuff muscles very healthy and optimized, ready to be used for shoulder mechanics, especially when in training hard and putting the shoulder through repetitive motion with varying degrees of external load. When performing the incline dumbbell bench press, you are targeting the upper portion of your pectorals. You add in some shoulders, but you're mainly targeting the upper chest muscles. When performing the incline dumbbell bench press, some people like to come down as low as 90 degrees, but me I like to go down below 90 degrees so I can improve range of motion. I can have power throughout the whole range of motion. When performing the trap raises, you have to make sure your back is as tight as possible. You want to have your spine erect and not arch in any way, but straight. Also, when doing the trap raises, you can do them in the I formation like I'm doing now. You can do it in the Y formation, or you can do it in the T formation. Having strong trapezoids are great to absorb blows to the shoulder area. It also secures the neck during contact. When performing a squat with the Smith machine, set the bar where you can sit it on your traps. On the Smith machine, there's different levers where you can adjust the height. Make sure your posture is on point. You want to stand up straight. Make sure your back, all your muscles are locked in from your abdomen to your lower back, your upper back. You want to plant your feet on the ground. Once the weight is unhooked and you are going down with the load on your traps, on your shoulders, You want to stop at a 90-degree angle once your knees are bent in this degree. Then you rise back up. Then repeat the same steps again and again and again. When completing the lat pull down, make sure you tighten up your spine, tighten up the muscles in your back, and you want to pull the bar down to your chin or below your chin and squeeze the scapula. It's very important to target your back muscles to help you with posture and to ease pulling movements. The lat pull down is an exercise that targets the latissimus dorsi, which are the muscles just under the armpits that spread across and down the back. By isolating the muscles with this exercise, you can focus on them without tiring the biceps or triceps. To perform the cable overhead bicep curls, stand between the two grips evenly and secure your grasp with the handles, with each hand using the undergrip, palms facing upwards. Allow your arms to be extended at your sides about the shoulder level and parallel to the ground. While keeping your elbows set in place, slowly curl your hands towards your head. To perform the Bosu ball plank, you have to extend your legs and get into a high plank position. Squeeze your entire core, your glutes, and your quads. Then tuck in your butt under a little to keep your lower back straight. Once you feel comfortable, hold this position for 30 seconds. Incorporating the Bosu ball while lifting free weights such as dumbbells or barbells, you force your muscles to stabilize and guide the weights throughout the full motion, making your usual exercise routine more challenging. To do a proper pull up, grab the pull up bar with your palms facing down, which is called pronated. Hang to the top of the pull up bar with your arms straight and your legs off the floor. Pull yourself up by your elbows, then down to the floor. Go all the way up until your chin passes the bar. Lower yourself slowly until your arms are straight again, then repeat this process over until you cannot lift anymore. The chin up is very similar to the pull up, with the only exception of your palms facing you. And since your palms will be facing you, which means your bicep and your back will be doing a lot of the work. The chin up is a great way to develop upper body functional strength. By doing pull ups, you can increase your arms and your back size, build serious grip strength, and improve performance. To perform a proper dip, grab the parallel bars and hoist yourself up. At this point, look ahead. Bend your knees behind you. Keep your elbows at your side, lowering yourself until your triceps are parallel to the floor. Once you hit parallel, come back up until you just before you lock out. You don't want to lock out your elbows. Now do another one. To do a Russian twist with proper form, you have to sit with your torso leaning back to a 45-degree angle with your knees bent and your feet either on the floor or elevated place like you see I'm elevated on this chair. Usually you hold an object in front of you like I'm holding this 25-pound kettlebell up to my chest level, waving it from left to right. Now we're at the cool down routine of the workout. To complete a proper side bend, place one arm on the side and the other arm straight up. Make sure your legs are together or just a little over shoulder width apart. Then you bend over to the left or the right, stretching out your spine, your lats, and also helps you improve posture. Doing the same to the other side. To perform a upper back stretch properly, make sure Your hands and knees are on the mat. Separate your knees out wide and your toes together. Sit your hips all the way back to your heels. Walk your hands forward until your arms are straight and in front of you. Feel the stretch throughout your sides of your body and shoulders. Now relax your shoulders and arms for about 30 seconds. Breathe in and out deeply. The shoulder stretch with resistance bands is a great way to release all tension and tightness from the previous strength and conditioning we were doing in the past workouts. We know that we have done this in the warm up routine. We can still use this same stretch in the cool down routine.